Everything was perfect on Tuesday. You had a wonderful evening. The conversation flowed effortlessly, and you felt a rare moment of genuine connection. You might have even thought to yourself that this could be something real. But then Wednesday arrived. You woke up with a sinking feeling in your stomach. The person who seemed so wonderful the night before now feels suffocating. You look at a text message from them and feel a wave of irritation. Suddenly, you notice the way they chew their food, or the sound of their laugh, and it makes you want to crawl out of your skin. You feel an urgent, physical need to get away. If you have ever experienced this sudden emotional U-turn, you are likely familiar with the guilt that follows. You might ask yourself if you are broken. You might wonder if you are incapable of love. You might assume that you simply met the wrong person and that your intuition is telling you to run. While intuition is real, what you are likely experiencing in this specific scenario is not a red flag about them. It is a defense mechanism known as deactivation. Deactivation is a hallmark strategy of an avoidant attachment style. It is a subconscious system designed to turn off your attachment needs when intimacy becomes too intense. To understand why this happens, we have to look at how the avoidant nervous system perceives safety. For many people, closeness equals safety. But for those with avoidant tendencies, closeness often equals danger. It signals a loss of self. It signals the potential for being controlled, engulfed, or drained by another person's needs. When a relationship is distant or casual, your nervous system remains calm. You feel in control. But as soon as things get good, meaning as soon as emotional intimacy deepens, your brain sounds an alarm. It perceives the growing dependency as a threat to your autonomy. To protect you, it initiates a shutdown protocol. It suppresses the feelings of love and longing and replaces them with feelings of indifference, annoyance, or numbness. This is not a conscious choice you are making to be cruel. It is a biological override. To understand the core driver of this reaction, we must look at the fear of engulfment. In childhood, you may have had caregivers who were intrusive or demanding. Perhaps you had to suppress your own needs to manage a parent's emotions. Or perhaps you were left alone so often that you learned to rely entirely on yourself. In either case, you learned that letting someone in too close results in pain or a loss of freedom. As an adult, when someone steps inside your emotional perimeter, your body reacts as if you are being suffocated. One of the most common and confusing ways deactivation shows up is through a phenomenon often called the ick. This is when you suddenly fixate on a minor, superficial flaw in your partner. It could be their choice of shoes. It could be the way they pronounce a certain word. It could be a physical feature you never noticed before. Intellectually, you know these things do not matter, but emotionally, they become insurmountable obstacles. The brain is incredibly creative when it wants to create distance. When the alarm bell of engulfment rings, your mind starts scanning for evidence that you should leave. It highlights these small imperfections and magnifies them until they are all you can see. This serves a protective purpose. If you can convince yourself that the person is flawed or annoying, you have a valid reason to pull away. It saves you from having to admit that you are actually terrified of how much you like them. Another major component of this pattern is the confusion between independence and isolation. We live in a culture that praises hyper-independence. We are taught that needing others is a weakness. For the avoidant individual, this cultural narrative reinforces the defense mechanism. You might pride yourself on not needing anyone. You might view your ability to detach as a superpower. You tell yourself that you are just self-sufficient. However, there is a profound difference between healthy autonomy and defensive isolation. Healthy autonomy means you know who you are within a relationship. You can be close to someone without losing your identity. Defensive isolation is a fortress. It is a rigid wall that keeps everyone out because you do not trust your own ability to set boundaries. You believe that if you let the drawbridge down even an inch, the enemy will storm the castle. Deactivation is the act of pulling up the drawbridge the moment someone gets too close to the moat. You might also recognize deactivation through the presence of the phantom X. This is a fascinating cognitive distortion where you find yourself pining for a past relationship, even one that was not particularly good. Why does the brain do this? Because the phantom X is safe. They are not here. They cannot make demands on your time. They cannot disappoint you in real time. By idealizing someone who is unreachable, you effectively block the real, imperfect person trying to connect with you right now. The memory of the past serves as a shield against the vulnerability of the present. So, what happens when you feel the walls going up? The typical reaction is to withdraw without explanation. You stop texting, you become cold, you spend longer hours at work. You might even start a fight just to get some breathing room. This is often where the toxic label gets applied. But the toxicity is not in the need for space. The toxicity is in the lack of communication. It is vital to understand that needing space is a valid human need. Everyone has a different capacity for social interaction and emotional closeness. The problem arises when that need for space is acted upon impulsively and destructively. When you disappear, you trigger the abandonment wounds of your partner. This usually makes them chase you, which makes you pull away harder, creating a painful cycle. Healing this pattern requires a technique we can call pause before flight. The goal is not to force yourself to stay in a situation that feels unsafe. The goal is to insert a wedge of consciousness between the trigger and the reaction. When you feel the sudden wave of repulsion or the urgent need to leave, the first step is to name it. Say to yourself, I am deactivating. Acknowledge that your nervous system is overwhelmed. Do not assume the feeling is an objective truth about your partner. Remind yourself that Tuesday was real. The connection you felt was valid. The feeling you have now is a fear response. Once you have named it, try to identify the specific trigger. Did the conversation get too deep? Did they start talking about the future? Did you spend 3 days in a row together? Pinpointing the trigger helps you understand that this is about the volume of intimacy, not the quality of the partner. The next step is to communicate your need for space responsibly. Instead of ghosting, use a bridge phrase. You might say, I've had a really long week and I'm feeling a bit drained. I need some time to myself to recharge, but I'd love to see you on Saturday. Notice the difference between that and simply going silent. You are validating your need for autonomy, but you are also reassuring the connection. You are telling them, I am going away to rest, not to leave you. This creates safety for both parties. It allows you to take the space you need without burning the house down. You can also practice titrating intimacy. Think of intimacy like exposure to the sun. If you have been living in a cave, emotionally speaking, and you suddenly spend all day on a tropical beach, you will get burned. You will want to retreat to the cave forever. Instead, try short bursts of connection. Spend a lovely evening together and then go home to your own bed. Do not feel pressured to merge lives immediately. Slowing down the pace is not a failure. It is a strategy for sustainability. It is also helpful to challenge the ick when it arises. When you find yourself fixating on a flaw, ask yourself a reality-checking question. Does this trait actually impact their ability to be a loving partner? If the answer is no, try to zoom out. Look at the whole person. Remind yourself of 3 things you appreciate about them. You are teaching your brain to focus on the signal, not the noise. Breaking the cycle of deactivation feels counterintuitive. Your body will scream at you to run. It will feel like you are walking into a fire. But the fire is simply the warmth of being seen. The danger your brain perceives is an echo from the past, not a prediction of the future. As you practice staying present through the discomfort, you build a new neural pathway. You learn that you can be close to someone and still be safe. You learn that you can say no to a request without ending the relationship. You learn that you can rely on someone else without losing yourself. Intimacy is not a trap. It is a choice. Deactivation tells you that you have no choice, that you must escape to survive. Recovery is realizing that you are the one holding the keys to the door. You can walk out whenever you want, which means you are also free to stay. The next time you feel the urge to pull away when things are going well, pause. Take a deep breath. Recognize the fear for what it is. It is just your old armor trying to protect a version of you that no longer exists. You are safe enough now to put the shield down, even if just for a moment. And in that moment, you might find that the boring safety of reliable love is exactly what you were looking for all along.